One time I went to the bathroom and I forgot to take my pants off.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to a very special episode of the Outlap. This is episode number 2, and we have a very special guest, S1ap Shoes, known for his historic NASCAR YouTube content, some very well-researched and produced videos. He's fantastic, glad to have him on board, and he's going to help talk about the big trip to Bristol. Rusty, Cody, Caleb, S1ap, and of course a whole group of other creators and race fans went down to Bristol together, and they had a really cool time, and it's a really unique experience. They talk really in depth about how that went, what they got to see, what it was like meeting people. So this episode's a little bit more NASCAR biased than some of the previous ones, just because F1's in a bit of an off season. There hasn't been any big news in the past week, so this is pretty NASCAR heavy and pretty story driven too. This should be fun. Also, I would like to point out, the Outlap is now available on Spotify. So if you use Spotify for podcasts, you can check us out over there. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can hit a little link in the box and it'll take you straight to the Outlap on Spotify. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you. That's awesome. You can now pick us up and take you wherever you go. We're working on getting this thing out to other podcasting platforms, and be on the lookout within the next couple of weeks for news on that. Anyways, enough from me. We're here to talk about Bristol. Enjoy the show.
So I've been so excited. So Rusty, you were the farthest away. Give us your story.
Yeah, I want to hear this like
because you
chapter
pick up
by chapter.
Cody on the way. So I got to hear this.
Yeah, it was a glorious day. I woke up feeling fantastic. I knew I was just couldn't wait to meet CodyHGaming. Hit the road. And it was a very quick 5-hour drive to get him. My adrenaline was going. A little pit stop at the Quick Trip. Refueled, and I went and got him at the parking ride, and we met. We laid eyes on each other for the first time, and and we picked up Cody.
It was just
awesome.
Love at first sight.
It was. Yeah, it was amazing, and we loaded up, kind of sent you guys some messages, some videos, some pictures. We shared it for social media, and we hit the road, and we were off and running, and came to immediate halt once we hit Chicago traffic, and that kind of for a little bit, but yeah, it was an easy drive for the most part, and then Cody kind of took us through the scenic route once we got to actually I'm jumping ahead. We were making a pit stop for the night in Louisville, so it was a really quick casual drive to me it felt like a really easy drive after Chicago, and it went by fast.
Yeah, it was just that gridlock of Chicago. Once you got through that, you're just in rural, flat Indianapolis. The only real thing to see in Indianapolis is Indiana is Indianapolis.
So
and the Honda plant.
So what's it like? I mean, I've talked a little bit about this last week and how unique this is. Like, you've known each other for about a year, but never seen each other in person. And it's like suddenly you meet, and now you're spending a night in a hotel together. Like, what was that like? Was it sort of
rather quickly?
Was there anything unexpected? Or
sounds weird on paper, but I didn't feel like we're strangers. I mean, we've been talking at least every week for a friggin' year or so.
Yeah. And then we had a kind of a long car ride, so it wasn't like I picked him up, we went straight to the hotel. We we hung out for a little bit. We got some burgers at Freddy's and
delicious.
Yeah. And then we had the hotel party on the late night broadcast with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So while this is happening, you guys are driving in from Minnesota to Bristol. S1ap is on the other side of the goddamn world in Japan. What was that like, coming back and then getting to Bristol like almost immediately, right?
Yeah, that kind of rocked my fucking world, dude. The flight back wasn't as bad as the flight out. The flight out sucked, dude, because I had like the whole road to myself, and I'm like, oh, killer. And then they had this couple come in with their two like twin 2-year-olds.
Oh
and
no!
they had missed their
no.
flight to Korea, and they were flying to Narita, Tokyo, to transfer to Seoul, South Korea.
Oh, so they're just miserable.
And those 2-year-olds did not. Once they got up in the air, they were cool for like the first hour, and once they realized they weren't going to be off of that plane anytime soon, they started crying and crying and crying, and did not stop until the last hour of the flight. It's a 13-hour flight, so they spent 11 of that crying. And then after like the first 5 hours of crying, I could tell that like it was just like pure spite was keeping them going, because they were like tired crying. They're like, and it's just like they're still clinging on to whatever hope they have in their 2-year-old brains that like the crying will make this stop.
Why
and
would
they'll
the parents
be
let
back
them
home.
keep doing that though? They should like definitely tell them to stop.
Well,
I don't know if
what are you gonna do with
I
a
remember
2-year-old?
I was at the doctor's office when I was like
Throw
4
them out the plane.
I remember I was at the doctor's
Okay,
office when I
there
was
it is.
4 years old. My mom put up with me complaining about something. I forget what it was, but I was complaining for like about 10 minutes, and then she just backhanded me and said, "You little brat, shut up." and later she apologized to it. She like actually sat me down at the bed, and she was like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And I was just like, Mom, this is kind of par for the course. I don't understand what you did wrong. I was kind of being a shithead.
But I mean, that's what you gotta do. You gotta put some.
You gotta set the
Gotta
rules,
put
the
some
law down.
some wah.
People got to discipline their children. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, you don't have to slap them upside the head, but you at least gotta like.
Like you don't have to throw them out of the
Like,
plane,
hey,
but you can definitely
Gotta slap them
I think
upside
they
the
should
shoes.
oughta-
There was
If I-
in-flight entertainment too, and like the kid, like I remember the first hour, the kid found like his favorite TV show, and he was watching it, and then he was just like done with it, and he was just like climbing over stuff and crying, and they made me like switch seats with them, like to the other end of the aisle, like for some reason, I don't know why, but it is. The flight over there was miserable, but anyway, coming back was great. I watched Avengers, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, Safe House, The Accountant, the entire Batman trilogy, and then I landed. So just like awesome.
Oh my
Dude, The Account's a
God.
great movie.
What a lineup.
Incredible.
I know it was like a great lineup, and then I like hit the ground, and I'm like, all right, cool. Landed in Atlanta, had a 5-hour layover, so I could take my 30-minute flight back to Greenville.
Did you get any jet lag from all that flying to Bristol?
I did when I woke up like Sunday morning, and I had like 4 hours of sleep, and I had to drive back home, and I was like dead fucking tired. But I got home at like 10:30 Friday night, went to bed, woke up at 6:30, took a shower, and hit the road and went to Bristol. And
Oh my
I felt
God.
fine for most of the day, and stayed up to like 3 a.m. shooting the shit with everybody, and then passed out, slept for 3 hours, and then Rusty and Cody were getting ready. They were leaving. We were like staying in the basement, and they were leaving, and they woke me up, which I'm a light sleeper. It doesn't take much. And then they were gone, and I just hung around the house for a few hours, and I was like, I got to somehow drive 2.5 hours back to Greenville. And that was the end of my 2-week vacation. And then I had to go back to work. And then the jet lag really hit then.
Oh,
F in the chat.
so you guys, Cody and Rusty, you guys got to the track on when did you get Friday?
Friday.
Thursday.
Thursday morning
Thursday, yeah.
Oh, okay.
or afternoon.
Like Thursday afternoon, yep. So along the way, we got to give a huge shout out right away. Brendan Williams. I don't know his exact job title. Let me pull him up on Twitter so I can get that in. But he, I think, had something arranged. Thanks to like the NASCAR Weekly podcast guys. Both me and Rusty just in the middle of the
Wednesday.
ride. Just in the middle of the ride, we just both get DMs from him like, "Hey, like, what's your contact info for hot passes?" And we're both just like, "What?"
Oh, like
Are you
on the way
serious?
to the
When we-
track?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Well, I was on my way to Cody, and I think it was 10 a.m. in the morning. I got a DM from Brendan asking, same question, like, what's your full name and phone number for Hot Pass? I'm like, oh, God.
How was the house? Like you talked about, there's like this house that you're all gonna meet up at.
So yeah, after we found out that we were gonna get hot passes, we filled out the info and got back to Brandon. He's he works for NASCAR. He handles esports and emerging tech. So yeah, after we did that, shortly after we got to the Airbnb, we thought we were gonna get greeted by like a big group of people there because we like based on the group chat, we thought we were gonna be one of the last ones to get there. We showed up to the Airbnb, we let ourselves in because we knew where the key was, and we were like alone. There was no one else there, so we
Nobody was home.
So yeah, we were expecting like this big welcome party. We were like all nervous and anxious about it and excited to meet everyone. Yeah, we showed up and we were by ourselves. So we dropped our stuff off, we unpacked, we got ready, and then we walked over to the track because we assumed everyone was over at the track. On our way there, after walking up the main highway towards the track, we stopped at the credentials trailer, which happened to be the right spot to get our hot passes. Got those, walked up to the entrance, and immediately we went down to the infield. Coming through that tunnel and out the entrance in the infield and seeing that garage area for the first time, that was like those heaven, like holy noises like you hear.
It's like magic.
Yeah, like that. I was hearing that. Dude, it was like kids in a candy shop. We were just like running around like we have no idea what to do. There's just so much stuff.
Dude, oh my god, that video that Rusty posted on like Thursday where he was like, "It's Bristol, baby!"
Oh, that was so great.
The greatest thing. I was like,
Yeah.
this is so good.
It was
Yeah,
cool. Goodness. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, like literally, because the tunnel, it's like you go underground, so you're on the outside of the track, and then you go down these steps, and you're underground, and you just like, and you emerge into it, and it's just like, it was, you can't even describe that feeling, and just the,
Dude, it's like surreal, dude.
you felt like, I don't know, there's so many emotions going through just your body. It was just electric. And that's why I was kind of jumping around, skipping around, running around. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's Bristol, baby. It was
Yeah,
insane.
I'm sure there was like one dude staring. And he was like, "Who let this guy in the garage area?"
No,
Dude,
that's great. They love to see
it's
it.
funny you say that. In the video of us first coming up, we're like both freaking out, like, oh my god. And then you see like walking down like some like pit crew guy just like staring at us like, what's with these weirdos? Like, that's his exact look. He's just like giving us such a weird look, and I don't care because it's an everyday thing for him. It was my first time.
Hell yeah! So were there cars on track as you emerged from the depths?
I think Xfinity or truck, like I think truck qualifying was getting ready to start qualifying.
Oh,
like
yeah.
in about a half an hour or so. There was nothing on track at that moment, so we were wandering around for a bit. We were checking out the cars, the garage.
Yeah, the first car I saw, I gotta plug it while I'm on air. Noah Gregson's car was sitting right there with the whole right side all scraped up with a little bit of kiss from touching the outside. I'm like, typical. I loved it. I loved it. I was in heaven right off the bat.
Is that where you met everyone? Was at the Bristol track?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we were walking around for a bit, checking everything out. We did a full lap around the garage. We came back and we were kind of waiting around where we were. We eventually got up to the Victory Lane area. We were kind of hanging around in the corner by the ramp, just checking out the view, getting some like hype social media stuff and selfies, and just in awe, taking in like where we are and all the history that's taken place there. And then as we're hanging out up there, we see Sloppy Joe come walking by the same entrance we just came in, like the little tunnel entrance.
Oh yeah.
And he was walking over, he's like, "Hey, there's Sloppy," and then we go chase him down. After chasing him down for a couple minutes, he finally sees us. So then we meet him. Super excited to meet Sloppy, and then we kind of do the same thing with him. We do a lap around the garage, just taking everything in.
Oh yeah.
And then we were hanging out, basically by the pit road wall, kind of back by the Gate 9 tunnel entrance where we both came in. We were waiting for the rest of the group to come through. Waiting there maybe 15, 20 minutes, and finally they came in. The big group that first came in that we met all right away was Darian, Jarrett, Danny, Michael Klein, that Badget Midget Series driver that I've met a few times. Who else was in that group, Rusty?
Claudia, and
I think there was someone else. One more person.
that might have been it because Joseph joined later, and
Yeah,
that
Joe and Zach were later,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then
you might
Zach
be
Harmon
right.
was during the Xfinity race.
So yeah, just meeting the whole like basically the whole podcast crew coming through the tunnel, pretty hyped too. Just to put like, I don't know, just out of, I don't even know what you call it. Just see them in person was
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Darian led the charge with the the greeting and ran over and gave us all a bear hug like he did Jarrett.
Yeah, in that video they put up.
And my
Yeah.
back was like soaking wet from sweat.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. Yeah.
Oh.
I warned them, and they still did it anyway.
Dude, I'll tell you, like on that Thursday night when I was just looking through, because I was driving up on Thursday. It was like a 4-hour drive, not that bad, but I was just like looking through social media after the fact, and I was like, dude, I wish I was there right now. I could not sleep on Thursday night because I was like, this time in 24 hours, we will have met CodyHGaming and Rusty Walrus.
Dude,
I think I don't know. I kind of want to fast forward to the truck race. I don't know what happened
go
in
ahead,
between
yeah.
then and the trucks, but that truck race, oh my God, that was like the time of my life. That
You
might have
were
been the
freaking
greatest
out.
race I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Darian freaking out about Natalie Decker.
Dude, the
Oh
whole
my
thing
God.
with the
Yeah.
energy from start to finish, it was insane.
And you guys were right on the start finish line, right? For the
A
truck
little,
race?
we were a little bit towards turn 1, but yeah, we were on the front stretch, pretty high up between the start finish line and turns 1.
Pretty awesome.
And the during the race, yeah, the bottom groove was kind of the place to be. It just felt kind of like old Bristol. Like Ross Chastain was putting on a show. He got shuffled to the back. Tried to come back there. It was awesome.
Made his way back up to 3rd. I think he finished. Yeah, we were.
So
I was
what
rooting
about-
for Ross. I think. Yeah, he got that penalty for too many men over the pit road wall, and then he had to start in the back, and they made his way up to 3rd by the end of the race.
So, how animated was Darian about Natalie Decker? Because I mean, that kind of blew up on Twitter. Like,
Dude, I got. I wish I had better video, but yeah, he was. He was for everyone. I mean, everyone.
The
was
whole
freaking out.
crew.
How could
the
you
whole
not?
crew. Oh yeah,
I
the whole
mean,
crew.
her own spotter was freaking out. How could we not?
Yo, that video
Have
is
you
that
guys?
was
fantastic.
amazing.
Please tell me
Yeah.
you've seen
That
it.
is an amazing.
That audio
yeah,
is crazy.
Get off the track.
I don't even know why
Yeah,
I'm
that
up
was-
here.
Yeah. Oh my god.
what's like the entire stands roasting her?
Basically. Like you could just not even us, just everyone. I mean, if you looked around, you could just see like everyone just like throwing their arms up in the air, like what the heck? Like
Yeah.
that's like the 5th time you've spun. Like
Well,
you're
yeah.
good
Once
equipment.
the tow truck spun her, yeah, it was like, oh my.
I'd quit after that. Honestly, like if the tow truck spun me, I'd be like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. Later.
Her
I'm
spotter
retired.
did.
I'm done.
Well, the part that made me laugh was she was sitting there on the front stretch, stopped, and she was trying to get the car fired, and she kept making an effort at it. And they finally got it rolling after like 5 minutes. And then once she got spun by the tow truck, that's when she decided, that's it, I'm getting out of here. Like that was to me the weird part about it.
And they had to throw the red flag because there's only like 13 laps to go in that point in the race. And they're like, dude, if we wait any longer for her to get her truck off the track, we're gonna like end this freaking race under yellow.
What a mess. Oh
Because
my
of her.
god.
Wow, unbelievable.
How
So
Natalie
they had
Decker
to-
almost eliminated NASCAR overtime.
And yeah, just the energy in the crowd was great. Just you could totally feel the energy. The racing was amazing. There's just constant wrecking and yellows and bump and runs.
Dude, I know like trucks gets a rep of being like the 3rd series, like you got like double A and
It's a fun
triple A,
thing.
but it's amazing. It is so fun
It's
to
the
be at.
best.
The last
Dude, I've
race,
been
the
saying
last
for
race
a
I ever
long
went to
time,
was
Every
Dover.
weekend, that's the best show.
Yeah,
I'm
the last
going
one I
to
went to
see
was
What are you
Dover.
watching?
I'm going to see him next week. Hell yeah. I love it.
It's always
the trucks are
such
awesome.
a good
you
show.
aren't watching the trucks, what are you watching?
Zach.
Well, yeah, but before the trucks was the K&N race.
Oh yeah.
Haley had herself a little crowd. She was doing decent early on, but I don't know what something happened with her car, like tire fall off or what. The 3rd segment or whatever they do in K&N races, she kind of fell off.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it's an all right race. This is my first ever K&N race I've ever watched, let alone in person. So
Yeah, the guy that won got dumped on lap 1, so he did the spin and win.
Oh yeah, the Sam Mayer. Yeah.
Oh, is that who Darian? Is that whose bumper he had?
I don't know.
Darren got
It
a
was-
bumper?
Yeah, from the K&N race. It was the guy that got wrecked on lap 1. I don't think it was Sam Mayer. I think it was someone else.
No, I
Sam
thought this-
Mayer.
Yeah, the 6 spun the.
Oh no, it was Chase. It was Chase Cobber is the guy. The bumper he got.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right. So the 21 spun. Yeah, you're right.
Because yeah, after we met up with the guys after the K&N race, they were in a different part of the stands. We met up with them for the truck race, and we get up there, and like Darian's holding a piece of the sheet metal apart off a bumper. He's like, "Hey, I found this while we were down in pit road." And yeah, it was the bumper of the guy that wrecked in lap 1 of the K&N race.
Yeah, funny story. I'm pretty sure that Danny B took that home and is gonna like ship it to Darien or something like that.
Well, yeah, you can't bring that on a plane. They're gonna think he's gonna use it as like a weapon or something. You can't.
Imagine like
TSA.
stabbing somebody with a rear bumper off a car.
Well, it's
Come on,
literally a piece of
TSA.
metal.
I'm
or
gonna kill
composite,
you with
whatever
this
it is.
TV panel.
I mean, you
on
can't get a
TV.
tiny bottle of shampoo through TSA. They're certainly not going to allow that.
It's not liquid.
Yeah.
You
after
can
the-
make it liquid.
It was,
Yeah, I mean, technically not lying.
Just drink the sheet metal. Easy.
so that was basically Thursday. I can't really think of anything else that happened after the truck race. Oh, the track walk.
Oh yeah,
Track walk. After the truck race, we got onto the track and were able to walk around. We patted the burnout strip. We signed the infield on the Bass Pro Shop logo right in the middle of the O and the Pro.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Took a picture on the safer barrier. Just walked around. Yeah, the banking's kind of blocked off. And Rusty wanted to lick the strip.
Yeah, I was really big on licking the strip, and they wouldn't let me do it.
Who wouldn't let
You've heard
you?
of kissing?
Who wouldn't let
Heard
you
of
do it?
kissing the bricks?
Who
Rusty
wouldn't, who
wanted
wouldn't
to
let you
the
lick
strip.
the strip? Come on.
Y'all ever just lick the PJ one?
They wouldn't let you do it like security?
It was taped
They
off.
had it roped off because I think they're like letting the haulers out from that way.
Yeah, a few years ago when I did the track walk, you couldn't go in the turns just because they didn't want people on the PJ one, or the VHT as it was called.
That stuff is super sticky, by the way. That like just even what was on the tire from the burnout, that stuff is, yeah.
Yeah.
So how steep is the banking thing?
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
it's
You
a
don't
bowl.
believe it in person. It feels like it looks like it's 45 degrees. I know that's not obviously correct, but that's what it
It's
looks
like
feels
it's like 33 degrees. I thought.
Like
Well,
I've always,
I guess
I've
Hell,
always
it used to
been
be
aware-
36 degrees, didn't it?
Yeah.
Back before they reconfigured it.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been steep, but seeing it in person, it's got to make it seem like a damn mountain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Dude, at the end of the Saturday night race, I walked out of the gate, which is like in turn 1, I think, and that was like the approach to the banking. That wasn't even as steep as it got, and dude, it was so steep. I was like, man, there's sections of Mount Fuji that aren't even this steep. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we talked a little bit about it last week about how tracks are just different when you experience them on the track. So I was
Yeah.
just curious as to how the turns felt to you guys.
Pocono's still the best.
So Friday.
We'll get to Pocono later on tonight.
So what happened Friday? We woke up. Oh yeah, I went to the track before you guys. You waited back and waited for a couple
Yeah.
other people. I
Yeah,
went with
Cody was,
Danny.
How early were you up?
Dude, it was early.
I was one of the first people to go over. It was basically me, Danny, Claudia, and Michael that went over initially. And then right when they, oh yeah, and
I was
then,
just saying, I
Rusty-
kind of stayed back to wait for the boys to, I guess, do their thing, which because I was trying to catch cup practice and I ended up missing both cup practices, unfortunately. But so I was,
No,
I
you
was held
missed
back
the,
at the
you
house.
missed the, or you got the second one because the second one was going on while we were getting that tour. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah, get to that later. But so this is during first cup practice, and this is where we start to get the actual meetup together. Like the pieces are coming together.
Oh yeah.
So I'm texting Rusty like a ton at this point. I'm like, yo, where are you? I'm in the tents, and Rusty's like, yo, I'll be there in a few minutes. All these guys are taking forever. So I'm just waiting down in the tents, and I go across the street because Cody's in cup practice, right? So all of a sudden I get the text from Rusty. It's something like, I'm here. And I'm like, oh boy, the pants are off. We're running across the street. I'm using all the big Chungus energy to get to Rusty. It's fantastic. So I cross the street, and like immediately I see this big number 8, and it says Sloppy Joe YT, and I'm like, why does this have to be the guy I encountered first?
God damn.
That.
I love
Brutal.
Sloppy Joe. But yeah, I meet up with Sloppy Joe, and I'm like, yo, do you know where everybody else is, man? And he's like, No clue. I'm kind of like the adrenaline is just pumping at this point. And then out of the corner of my eye, I look over there and I think, oh my God, I've never run faster in my life. I was like, Rusty! Rusty! It was fantastic. And then I met up with Rusty. I met up with Darian and Jarrett. Oh, it was great times.
But it wasn't like an epic like how the podcast guy showed up where you like appeared out of the tunnel and we all rushed and hugged. Like you were kind of like lurking in the corner of the tent and like.
So you're saying it was creepier?
Yeah, like it was
Much more cerebral.
Like he was just there, and I'm like I took like a triple take. I'm like, oh my God, that's actually Caleb. What up, Caleb?
Yeah.
Now,
So,
see, if I was there, I would be running and I would be given big, gutsy, flappy hugs.
So Friday was probably the most eventful day for me personally. So yeah, right when I got there, Danny, Claudia, and Michael wanted to stay and hang out at the merch tents. I wanted to get right in because Cup practice was starting in like 5 minutes. So I went in immediately. I basically hung out in the infield garage area for all of Cup practice. And after the drivers started getting done towards the end of practice and getting into their stalls, I was just hanging out in the area between the pit stalls and the haulers, just waiting for the drivers to walk by. And you could tell where no drivers had walked through yet because the crowds were still there hanging out by the pit stall. And I was just walking around, getting up close footage of the drivers, just saying, hey, what's up? Let's do my little get my little video shots for the vlog.
Oh, yeah, you did the one for Brad, too. That was really cool.
Yeah, Brad's walking by. Yeah. I'm like, hey, can you get a shout out for my buddy Ed?
Dude, oh my God.
Like, hey, Ed, what's up? How are you?
I showed that to my entire family, dude. That was so awesome.
Dude, I hope you play that on your tombstone.
That's gonna be in there. That's gonna be in the montage.
That was literally like the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Hey Brad, can you give a shout out to my buddy Ed?
What's up, Ed? How are you?
Awesome, thank you.
Dude, I can't, because he like kind of paused for a second. I thought he was just like going to walk away, but then he like turned around and did it. I was like, oh crap, thank you. Because I felt bad afterwards. Like I realized almost right after I said, it's like, oh man, I like didn't say please anywhere in there. It kind of sounded like I just barked it out. But then he actually did. I was like, oh, thank you very much.
No, that was a good fan interaction. Like you waited for him to finish signing the thing for the other person there. That was perfect.
It was there's like one or two drivers I tried to get selfies with. I didn't like ask for autographs from anyone. I didn't really ask too many.
Did you get any selfies?
Austin Dillon, I got one from him. Corey LaJoy, I tried, but then my camera didn't work, so then I just got one from him. He was hanging around by where we were at one point, and then I just took one with me and then him in the background. So I was like, hey, I got it.
Oh yeah.
With like the drivers you interacted with, which one was like your favorite or the one that seemed like the best with like the fans?
There were a couple later in the day that I'll get to in a bit that we actually like met and talked to for a while. But as far as like Cup drivers, like the like high level, like high name Cup drivers, I gotta say Clint Boyer. I'm not like the biggest fan of his, like per se, but like you could definitely he stood out as the one that he didn't seem like he was in any rush. He was like staying and like signing, like everyone saying, like talking to every person. Meanwhile, like everyone else just kind of seemed like, all right, I'll sign as many things as like I can fit like in this brief walk to my hauler. And then everyone else is kind of SOL. But like, yeah, Clint just stayed there and signed stuff for everyone.
Like, I know like Clint gets a bad rap on the track, or some people don't like him, but he's one of those guys that's genuinely cares about the fan interaction because he came from such a small time deal and he knows how fortunate he is to be running NASCAR. So he always tries to give a moment for the fans because he knows that they're the most important part of the sport. I mean, those guys can show up and race every week, but if there's nobody to watch them, then they don't have any money.
So yeah, that was cool. That as far as the Cup drivers go, that definitely stood out to me was Clint. So he gained a lot of respect for me after seeing that. And so after Cup practice ended, that's when everyone else kind of showed up because we were all waiting to get together to do a tour, kind of special tour of sorts, led by this guy named, hold on, I need to find his his last name before Tim Southers.
And who's he? What is he doing?
NASCAR PR manager for 704 games.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah, that's when you guys got up into the go ahead, yeah, tell the story.
So we all met up with him. Once again, I think this is kind of something that is partly in thanks to the podcast guys, like kind of arranging behind the scenes, because I don't think this all just came out of the blue. It could have, but I think they obviously had something to do with this behind the scenes. So we all met up with this dude, and he basically, while the second cup practice was starting, gave us the VIP treatment. He first took us into the infield media center. We got to see the inside of the media center. We all took like group photos and individual photos on that little press conference table where all the drivers speak from.
Yeah,
so we got to see all the behind the scenes stuff. That was crazy seeing all that in person.
Dude, and those photos there were fantastic too.
Yeah, the ones of like y'all inside the media center was great. Like I was like sitting on the outside of the track. I was like, oh my god, if I could be in there right now.
Yeah, I want to add the second we all kind of piled behind that table, like up because it was kind of elevated above the media members.
Yeah.
As soon as we piled in there, I immediately knew this was like a moment. That's that selfie I took. Like I'll never get this moment again. I took.
Oh yeah.
Because I didn't know if you're gonna get photo ops or anything. What was gonna happen? I'm like, this is literally like kind of a moment in time. So
like
that was
we made it.
Yeah, literally, it felt like if it was a special moment. I could feel it at that moment. It was incredible.
Yeah, that was. Awesome. I agree. I took a little video shot. We got a couple like group photos, and Rusty took a couple pictures of me individually on my phone that I'm gonna cherish forever. So after the media tour, we walked back out to the garage area, and he kind of did us. I don't know if he'd say a tour. He kind of just walked us around because you couldn't hear a word he was saying because that's when the cars were going for practice, the final practice. Then we did a lap around. Then once that practice was letting out, he kind of was like walking down and like flagging down certain drivers to like stop over and like just have a couple words with us, ask if they could take a couple group photos and introduce us, etc. A couple drivers were like Ross Chastain came and talked to us for a couple minutes.
That's sweet.
Well, I want to say because you mentioned Clint Boyer. Every time I come across Chastain, he gives you literally as much time as you want with him. Like he'll talk to you, he'll have a conversation. He'll do literally anything, and he's not in a rush. He'll sit there and he'll look you right in the eye and just literally like talk. It's so freaking cool. So I hope he gets to be a part of kind of the sport for a really long period of time because he's doing it kind of the organic kind of grassroots cool way that I really respect. I love it.
Ross the Boss Chastain.
You love.
There's like 3 separate occasions that he was
that guy
talking to us. So during that particular part of the tour, I remember Ross Chastain, Chase Briscoe came and had a few words for a bit. Bubba Wallace, we all got a group photo with him.
He seems like such a chill dude. Is he really a chill dude?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's as awesome as you'd expect him to be.
Awesome. I hope I get
as
to meet
awesome
him
as he seems.
He's
and
such an awesome guy.
Ross, Chase, and Bubba, I all got to shake their hands. So that was freaking awesome. I haven't watched it since.
And he still hasn't watched it.
And another guy, I gotta say, I don't know if I didn't necessarily personally talk to him. It was mainly like the podcast guys, but Corey LaJoy, just making all the time in the day to like come and hang out with fans and chat with them and sign stuff. And a little bit later, I'll get to another story with him. But yeah, he is another one like up there with Clint and Ross, just super down to earth and making all the time in the world to make sure all the fans get some one-on-one interactions. After the tour let out, mainly thanks to Sloppy, and we all just kind of wanted to meet Daniel Hemrick. We were kind of hanging out by the RCR haulers. Gave us some water since he technically works there, or works for RCR.
So
he's like, "Hey, you guys want some water?"
Do the crew guys know him? Like,
dude, he's on the team. Like
some of the drivers, yeah.
Like later up, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but later when Reddick won the Xfinity race, like he was up there like taking like photos with the rest of RCR. I'm not
Yeah,
kidding.
That's
Sloppy
Yeah, I
Joe's-
saw those. That was awesome.
that's
Yeah,
really
isn't
cool.
Sloppy
That's
Joe's
awesome.
team status the only thing that got y'all in victory lane?
So yeah, we were kind of hanging out by the RCR haulers for a bit. We saw Austin Dillon signing stuff. Bubba Wallace came by again for something. Ty Dillon walked past. Just seeing all these big name people that you see on TV all the time, just in person, it's kind of cool. You don't really know what to say. Just, hey, what's up?
Yeah. You're kind of like starstruck almost.
I mean, just like I wasn't like trying to chase him down and get selfies or have him autographs on. I was just like getting little video interactions.
Yeah.
That's all I was doing. But
Real fast, I'm gonna hop back real fast. So this is like after first practice, but Rusty and I were walking through the like merchandise haulers, like the actual Fanatics ones, and we're trying to meet up with Cody, and like all of a sudden I see like this guy with this huge camera over his shoulder. I'm like, that's him. We have this big old hug. It's great. But I'll tell you what, I had that starstruck moment. I was like, what do I say to this guy? I'm only funny. I'm only funny on the internet. I'm not funny in person. I don't know.
dude, you tried to shake my hand at first. I was the one that gave you the hug.
Yeah, I
love
put
that
my
you're
hand
outing
out,
him.
and then he like bear hugged me, and I was like, okay, I guess we doing this.
Well, it's a beard hug, not a bear hug.
It's true. It's true.
Weren't you able to touch the beard?
I was able to touch the beard.
You don't touch the beard touches you.
You were
But I'll tell
graced
you
by
what,
the
I was
presence of the
expecting
beard.
Cody to be taller than me. I thought he'd be taller than me.
Yeah, Caleb was, I think, like an inch taller than me, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm
That was
6'2",
weird.
so
Oh my god!
I'm like
Oh my
6 or 6'1".
Oh my god. Slap. So, like, how much of the weekend did you get to see? I'm interested.
I basically rolled in Saturday morning, like 11 a.m. I roll up to the house because they'd given the address in the Bristol house chat. I roll up there and I expect there to be at least some people there, and it's deserted. And then I'm like looking through my DMs, like, where y'all at? And I'm like waiting 5 minutes for a response. They're like, oh, we're already over here at the track. I was like, everybody? They're like, yeah, everybody. So
yeah, because that was the meetup time, wasn't it?
the meetup time was at noon. I knew that, but I expected at least like some people to be chilling at the house and just drive over and at like 11:30. So I walk over there. It's like a mile and a quarter to the track, which isn't that bad. So I just park my car and just walk over there. And I'm trying to find this tent. Rusty was kind enough to send me his exact location. I'm like trying to hover my dot over his dot and trying to fucking find this place. And I see a guy that looks like Darian, but looks way too tall. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I see like the towering presence of Eric Estep. And I'm like,
Like a
okay,
guiding
I'm gonna follow this
beacon.
tall. I'm gonna follow this tall, like,
Oh my god.
gangly looking motherfucker, and like wherever he goes is where I'm gonna go. And then the guy who I thought was definitely not Darian actually ended up being Darian. I'm like, wow, you're actually way taller than I thought. I thought you were like a scrawny, tiny little motherfucker. And so he's like, slap, slap. And then like everybody like slap, slap. And then like everybody just comes over and like starts shaking my hand and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just some idiot who makes NASCAR videos. Dude, like, y'all need to
But
chill.
the best one,
That's how we all feel.
That's how we met each other.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's
awesome.
what they all are.
And yeah, before we jump into the meet and greet, we gotta go back to the Xfinity stuff. So after the tour, I think, was there anything between that? Oh yeah, so before the Xfinity race, part of our little VIP tour that we got from this Tim guy, we walked out of the track, walked over, and went into the Xfinity drivers meeting. We got to sit in and watch that. So all the drivers walked in there.
Did you get to hear like the Chuck Bush NASCAR Heat video? Where
Yep,
it's like,
yep.
Crew chiefs, make sure you have your handouts.
Yep, yeah, that's exactly what it was. And someone was there walking past, and Tim introduced us all, and we got to shake his hand. I crap you not, we got introduced to and shook the hand of Mike Helton.
Oh,
That's awesome.
shit.
Man
So that was
himself.
the man,
Greatest
the
mustache of all time.
the mustache.
Agreed.
Realest guy in the
the
room.
greatest
I was-
beard and the greatest mustache.
All right.
I was just in awe for the rest of that meeting. And then, yeah, it was basically all the drivers meeting stuff, just all the formal general rules. All that, everyone.
Xfinity driver meeting, that was before Cup qualifying, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then oh yeah, your shirt story. Yeah, that's coming up.
All right.
So then after the Xfinity drivers meeting, I don't know if I'm missing anything. Then we walk back, and yeah, that's when Cup qualifying is.
All right.
I think then it's me, Rusty, and Caleb hanging out for a bit for Cup qualifying.
So real fast, before we get into the infamous shirt story, I'm actually wearing the shirt right now.
What?
But
is this that Kenny Wallace shirt?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna get in that yet. That's gonna be in a second. But for Cup qualifying, we were just sitting around shooting the shit, and then qualifying came around, and so we were just looking at like all these irrelevant people. I was like, how is Michael McDowell in 3rd place right now? It was so dumb. But yeah, wow. Martin Truex Jr. Chase Elliott got the pole, then it was Martin Truex Jr. and then Kyle Larson got the pole, and I was happy with Kyle Larson. So I was like, man, I'm actually kind of feeling good for this race. I hope Kyle Larson can pull out a win. And then on the track comes out the stupid himself, Dennis Hamlin. Literally, Rusty and I.
Hamlin.
Yeah, Rusty and I, like, I looked at Rusty. I was like, this dude's, or no, I said, easy last place, like easy last place. He's gonna DNF. It's gonna be terrible. And Rusty looked at me. He's like, he's gonna get the pole. And I was like, no, he's not. And we immediately look up on the board, and the 11 goes to the top. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself. It is all over. It was terrible. It was just, oh my god. And then like our last hope was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in some front row motorsports car. It was terrible. But as Rusty predicted, Denny Hamlin ruined the weekend. Big F in the chat.
Jeez. You know what's really funny about that is that even Lionel knows that Hamlin has absolutely no fans. They're not even offering that car.
They probably sell more for the
Bristol
Benedetto
Night
run than
Race
Hamlin.
win car, and they didn't even offer it.
They gave away a bunch of free 164s at
Oh yeah, the Denny Hamlin, yeah.
during that tour.
we can talk about that in a second too, but the whole like meet up with your Denny Hamlin car. But anyways, so to get into the shirt story, so it's like what 5 o'clock, 5:50, and I got to go down to the infield garage, like the entrance to it.
You got it from some dude on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Like I saw this guy. This dude tweeted out this Kenny Wallace shirt, and I think Kenny Wallace himself replied. He was like, "Yeah, I hate that car. That year sucked." And Caleb's immediate response was like, "All right, I'm buying that shirt."
No, I DM'd him about so funny story about it. I DM'd him about it, and he said $45. I was like, Jesus, I'm not paying $45 for a shirt. Dude, yeah, I was like, I was trying to BS my way out of it. I was like, sorry. I don't think I can get it. I'm trying to get it for Bristol, and this guy says, oh, I can meet you at Bristol. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. I was just like, the universe wants me to take it. I don't have the testicular fortitude to tell him I don't want it. So we're just gonna go and buy the shirt. I buy the shirt, right? $45 shirt. It's in this bag. I carry it with me. Cup qualifying happens. And then we get like a text from Jake and Darian and all them telling us, oh, hey, come over to turn 1. Like this is where we're going to hang out for the Xfinity race. We were like, okay. We headed over. Rusty went somewhere else to go. Wasn't it for Noah Gregson?
Yeah, I went down to the fence to cheer Noah.
Yeah. So we head over to turn 1. I sit down with Cody.
Hey, that's my boy. That's my boy.
Why? But why though?
Get a new boy.
Cute boy.
But anyways, so we get down to turn 1, and this is like a huge walk. This is uphill. I'm making fun of Cody because Cody's like stopping at the stairs. I was like, what a loser. Imagine.
Dude, yeah, I'm like from the backstretch up to turn 1. This walk we did, it's like uphill through these hills. I'm like struggling to like walk up all these stairs.
Yeah, I was like, what a stupid. Imagine having to stop at Bristol for these mountains.
What a stupid.
Yeah. I was basically just cyberbullying him on the way.
That's not cyberbullying. You're in person.
Cyberbullying me in person.
Cyberbullying him in person. There it is. But no, we get to the seats and we sit down and they're doing like Xfinity driver intros, and I'm like, hold up. Where's my $45 shirt? And then I realized that I've left it all the way down. And
God,
we were sitting
you
for Cup
dingus.
qualifying. I immediately like get up. I run faster than when I ran at Rusty. I'm like booking it. I went up like 3
Are you saying this shirt's more important than Rusty? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
For
no.
$45, it better be.
Yeah, and then no, it's great because there's like these stairs to help you get up the mountain. I see Rusty coming up the stairs. He was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I forgot the shirt," and I'm just running all the way down. It's the greatest thing. I go and get the shirt, and then there are these people. They're like, "Oh, is that shirt yours? We were looking at it," and I was like, "Yeah, it's mine." Anyway, so I get back to the seats, and when I'm coming down the stairs, I legit hear this one guy. He was like, "Oh, there that kid is." I'm like, "Oh God, I'm infamous with the Bristol, Tennessee race fans for running up 3 stairs at a time trying to get this Kenny Wallace shirt." Oh, good times.
So yeah, that was right before the. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that was right before the Xfinity race. But we sat in the Xfinity race. You probably saw some pictures from me on Twitter because we were having a great time watching the Xfinity race. It was great.
Yeah, freaking Reddick working his way from last to first. Oh, that was crazy. But before the finish, Kyle Busch was dominating for a while.
Yeah, and then he blew up, and Bristol roar. There was an uproar.
The crowd went nuts.
Oh my God, it was great.
When he pulled into the garage, the crowd went nuts.
You'll love to see it.
Yeah, dude. There was this one point, I forgot when it was, but Tyler Reddick spun out and it was he was like out of 4, he spun onto the front stretch. Literally every single one of us just stared over at Sloppy Joe, like dead stare at Sloppy Joe. It was the greatest thing. And Sloppy Joe was over there like crying. It was the best.
That's right. Reddick started from last and spun, and he still won.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot.
Legendary.
Jeez.
He started
It's
crying.
all out of love, Sloppy. We love you.
We love you, Sloppy.
So yeah, the Xfinity race is great. After Kyle Busch blew up, then Allgaier took over for a while.
And he choked it.
Then
Well, it was kind of a
He
bummer
choked.
that everybody got piled up in that. Like, I don't even know how many laps in, like 10 laps in. Like,
It was like not even 10 laps in. That was the stupidest wreck I've ever seen because it was like you could see Cole Custer get loose out of turn 2.
Oh yeah.
And then you see him come down and collect Christopher Bell, and you're like, oh God, oh no, oh fuck.
I mean, stupidest wreck. There was no tow truck involved.
That's a good point.
Just
Man
saying.
has a point.
He does have a point.
well, do you want to talk about the finish where it was like kind of hectic? Half of our crew was split in half.
Yeah, I was
Cody
gonna
went with the
say it was,
podcast guys into the infield for the end of that thing.
It was bad timing because like right when towards the end of the race, like with I think like 60 or 50 to go, like right when Rusty was like going to get some food or concessions or something, all of a sudden like 2/3 of the group that I was in just decided, oh hey, we're going up, we're heading somewhere. They didn't say anything. Like as Jarrett like tapped me on the shoulder, said something which I couldn't tell what he was saying at all because like cars are roaring.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they were walking up the stairs away from me. So I'm like, where the heck are they going? I grab all my stuff, go chase them down. When apparently they wanted to go into the infield for the end of the race. So we go down to the like turn 13 tunnel, go into the infield, and then basically like within 2 minutes of us getting in there is when Allgaier blows a tire or whatever happens, and Reddick takes the lead. So everyone's freaking out, jumping around. Sloppy's going crazy because he's RCR
Yeah.
boy. So then, yeah, the race ends. Reddick wins. We moved our way over like right by Reddick's pit box for the end of the race. So then Sloppy and RCR and everyone's all cheering and celebrating. And then at some point, Rusty gets back and meets up with us. But before then, we somehow during the rush of people made our way up to like Victory Lane. Like up that ramp, up on top of that building for Victory Lane. As right there for that iconic shot of the car rounding the corner up to the celebration area. Got to see Reddick and RCR celebrate in person. Richard Childress was right there talking with Austin. Got to say congrats to Richard as I was like 2 feet away. That was crazy.
That turn, like at the top of the ramp, looks really tight. Is it a lot bigger than it looks?
It's like 90 degrees and it's fairly wide, but those cars, especially when they're stopped like that, don't have a super tight turning radius.
Yeah, that's why it just looks like it's tight getting through there.
Yeah, like I was right at the point where when the thing started turning and you could tell it wasn't going to make the turn, I was like, oh crap, he's going to hit me. But then, yeah, he hit the brakes and then backed up and did like a little
You should have ran into it.
That's a story. Yeah, I got hit by Tyler Reddick in victory lane at Bristol.
Whoa! Be a good thumbnail.
Cody got an epic shot when that car pulled up. It was so badass. Like that, as soon as he showed me that, I was like, "That is the shot."
That was an insta nut.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I wasn't even there. Like,
well, the video will be rendered in 30 minutes.
30 hours, more like it.
No, that's
so yeah. Unfortunately, Rusty, yeah, since like they all ran off while he was getting like some food or drinks without saying anything.
Oh,
like he had to meet
no.
up with us afterwards.
I got the burnout of Reddick right in front. He started to do his burnout right in front of me. It was perfect, and then I came down. I was.
Dale said he was on TV again.
Yeah.
Because when we tried to get back up, then they were like thoroughly checking people's credentials, and apparently just our hot passes wasn't, I guess, enough to get in there, like per se. I think they were fine, but there was this one guy that was being a little weird about it. But anyway, we walked around kind of while we were waiting. We walked onto the track, took some pictures of the banking, just checked out the garage area a little more. And then by the time we came back from then, waiting for the guys to come back down, like the guards weren't at the gate anymore. So then we just walked back up. And then at that point, they were all taking pictures doing like the hat pictures. So then Rusty was able to get up there and see the celebration stuff all going on and hang out up there.
How many hat pictures do they do?
They said they did a bunch.
Like 100.
We came up there for the tail end of it, but yeah, Jared said there was like a bunch.
Oh my god. I didn't know this was like the hat pictures were this crazy in motorsports. At the IndyCar race I saw in Toronto, they went through the whole podium and they went through a stack of like 8 hats each. It was like, here's a new hat, take a photo. Here's another hat, take a photo. There's got to be a better way of doing that, right?
Photoshop. Need a green screen hat. Yeah.
Green hat.
Put it in post.
There you go. That's a perfect fix right
That's
there.
what you need.
Everybody's time.
Everyone's talking about AR, alternate reality. Just AR some hats on there. There you go.
Just give them a green hat.
I got all
and
the fixes
Photoshop of whatever you want on it.
It was cool. I got a video shot of Sloppy getting a one-on-one picture with Reddick and Victory Lane.
Yeah, I saw that clip.
With
That badass.
That trophy's really. It looks like the old like Winston Cup, like with the different layers. It's sweet. It's a beautiful trophy.
So that was awesome. Yeah, Friday was probably my most eventful day, to be honest.
Yeah, can we get into Saturday? Because Slap's falling asleep out here.
Yeah, sorry. Saturday, there wasn't
like at least 30 minutes.
Wasn't too much stuff leading up to the race.
Let's hear Slap's whole experience on Saturday.
Yeah. Now that we're on to when it was Slap showed up for like the meet and greet and stuff.
Yeah, showed up to the meet and greet, and like I had been just trying to get through the flight and everything, and still trying to do shit in Japan, and I didn't know everything that had been cooked up. I didn't know that there really was a tent at all that we were gonna all meet up at, and they're like, "Yeah, there's gonna be a meet and greet. We're at a tent. We're giving away free stuff. We're at the pole position. Like, okay, we got like stuff like lined up. We have like sponsors, for lack of a better term. Like, oh yeah, we got hot passes. Like, hot passes. When did that happen? And just kind of like a whirlwind experience. Like the whole like meet and greet thing just like zoomed by so fast. Like we had all these people coming up, and one kid like actually recognized who I was because I showed up on the NASCAR Weekly podcast once, and he saw my dumb haircut, my dumb glasses, and he was like, "Are you Slap?" She was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you sign this for me?" And I was like, "Sure, dude. I don't know why you want my autograph, but here you go."
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it turned out my dad was working in Richmond, Virginia earlier that week, and he was working with a guy who was a big NASCAR fan, and he told him, he's like, "Yeah, my son makes NASCAR videos." He's like, "Oh yeah, what's his channel name?" He's like, "Slap Shoes." Dude turned to him, he's like, "Oh, Slap Shoes, I love Slap Shoes. You're his dad. It's awesome, dude."
You're famous.
Yeah, it's like I'm like almost kind of somewhat a little bit famous. Crazy. Small world.
Eventually you have to start hiding your face, and then no one will know even your real name.
Well, that kid was the only person who spotted me, so I feel safe. But yeah, just the whole meet and greet like went by so fast. Met Caleb's dumbass, and I was like, you know what, this guy he is my cup of tea.
And was there like
literally,
and then like we're like, this guy has to be here.
Slap Shoes is the nicest person I've ever met. It was great. So like, or at least I thought he was the nicest person.
Oh, is there a story attached to that?
But so like early on, I didn't bring a bottle of water with me. I was like, "Yo, Slap, you got a bottle of water?" He pulls one out of his backpack. I'm like, "Hell yeah, Slapshoe's my guy." We all just have a great time at the thing. And then later that night, it's after the hot pass debacle. Cody, did you talk about that?
No, I was basically dying of like heat sickness by that point. I was like trying to like lay down and or nap, and then Darian kept hitting me up because Slap needed to borrow my hot pass because apparently his didn't go through. So I like kept texting like Darian. I was like, dude, I'm exactly right here. And I was like, dude, can you take some pictures? And I'd like have to get up, go take a picture, and then I'd sit back down. He's like, dude, can you take another picture? That one's not good enough. So then, yeah, Darian was just kind of...
No, I was with Darian. He was asking, like, can you take a picture of, like, the section you're at and what grandstand you're at? And you just took a picture of, like, some concession stand. I was like, that's not very specific. That could literally be anywhere. And you said, like, yeah, I'm at...
the second picture I took was
like
the
11.
one.
You said, yeah, I'm at section, like, 11 or 13, whatever it was.
I told him which gate it was, I think, and then the section.
Yeah, it was gate 13.
But we didn't realize that the gate numbers reset depending on which grandstand you're at. So if you're at the Kawiki grandstand and you say I'm at gate C or gate 3 or whatever, well, I could be in the DW grandstand and I'd be at C or 3 or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah,
where are you at? So
me being my first time, I didn't know any of that either.
You got to know the grandstand section too.
It's not the
So
overall.
there's just a
gates,
whole
it's just
big
the section.
miscommunication thing trying to get this hot pass to Slap and Darian while I'm
anyways,
like dying of
so
heat sickness in the meantime.
Cody and I are sitting under the stands, and Cody's trying to get reception to text Slapshoes, and I'm like, all right, we're pulling out the big guns. I go on to like the Core's Twitter account. We have to DM him using the Core's Twitter account, like just to get in contact with the dude. It's so janky. And then we finally meet up with him. He's got like chicken tenders. He took his sweet ass time. It's great.
I was hungry as fuck, dude.
Need those
chicken tenders were good.
Were they Pinties?
No, they were not Pinties.
Oh
no.
Pinties
The Pinties line at like 3 o'clock was huge.
They didn't even carry Pinty's chicken the whole weekend. They said they were sold out the whole weekend.
Garbage. I want my Pinties.
How do you show up to a racetrack in the southeast and be like, "Yeah, we ran out of chicken tendies like before Saturday even got here"?
But yeah, we met up with Slap, and I thought he was just like this nice, wholesome guy, and then he starts to reveal like the Outlap persona, the Core After Dark persona. I'm like, oh, this is one of us.
Is this the part where I threatened to sexually assault you?
Yeah, in front of my dad, nonetheless.
Your dad was there?
No, you just threatened to, like, I'm gonna fuck you in front of your dad. I was like,
no. I said I'm going to sexually assault you in front of God and everybody.
Oh, is that what it was?
And then you said that's my kink.
Okay, yeah, sounds about right.
And a friendship was born.
And then I was like, I'm gonna get along with these guys.
Yeah, and then Saturday night the race. Yes.
What a race, too. Yeah. My God.
I'm not even talking about the race yet. Driver intros were like the greatest thing. I got to yell at Joey Logano. I said, Joey, have my children. Like, just straight at him. It was great. I loved it. Rusty was full hype. Slap was full hype.
That's in my vlog, by the way.
Good.
Good.
Wait. Joey, have my children?
Yes, because there's enough crowd noise going on to where you can't really hear it unless you know or someone told you someone said that. So I figured it's
what did you
subtle
say to
enough
Denny
to sink
Hamlin?
it in.
I said Christopher Bell's gonna love the 11 next year. It did not age well. But no, it was great because we were I could see Denny Hamlin's face. Like, you could clearly make out Denny Hamlin. He could see us. It was great.
And then Matt DiBenedetto came out with the Rocky theme, wearing like a boxer's robe and like boxing gloves and everything. Then when he was like out on the back of the pickup truck, he came by where we were sitting, and I held up my Matt DiBenedetto hat that says "D Burrito, the People's Champ," and I'm like pointing at it, and I see him just like waving to people, like looking around. Then he sees like my hat and he points at me and he goes like, "Oh!" I could see him like make that face. I was like, "Yeah,
I have video.
dude."
I have video of that as well. Of
That's
him pointing
awesome.
in our direction.
That's
Yeah,
so cool.
he's pointing towards my hat. At least I think so, unless there was somebody behind me flashing her
Girl
titties.
looked like he's looking right at us. He was right behind me.
Those girls behind us might have been doing it too.
I mean, if I was a girl, I'd flash my titties to Matt D. Burrito.
Oh yeah, have you seen those biceps?
I mean, I don't even have to be a girl and I'd flash my titties to Matt to be.
Dude, he's fucking jacked.
Yeah,
Daddy D.
We've talked
I would
extensively about him on
Matt
this show.
Benedetto sit on my face.
Jesus. That's holy gay.
Matty B's biceps have already made an Outlap thumbnail. Thank you very much.
They have.
We had an extensive conversation about his physique.
We've had several conversations about
We're having yet another
It's
conversation.
too
about
much.
his
It's
physique.
getting a little concerning.
Oh, it's not concerning.
Oh, it's a healthy.
It's
a
perfectly
healthy
natural.
admiration.
Look at the guy.
Look at Matt.
He's a beautiful man.
Tell me you don't want to get.
He is a
pegged
beautiful
by
man.
that.
Anyways, dude goes and almost wins a race.
Almost.
Legend.
Yeah, I was out trying to get like the last beer that I could, and I was like, I just want to pay $7 for a bud, and I sat in line for like 15 fucking minutes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I missed
you
him
just
taking
brought-
the lead, and then I come back and it's 96 to go. Matt DiBenedetto's up front, and I'm like, oh, this is a nice surprise.
Oh my god, you just brought back like PTSD. Oh.
Of what?
So
Waiting in line and missing things?
Yeah, the the terrible concession line. So
Dude,
Cody
it was bad everywhere. Like you
Yeah,
could
dude.
come up with the exact change, say I want this, and it would still take him forever to bring it to you.
Like, what were they
Let's just-
doing? It's
Let's
a
just
little
move on. I don't even
stand,
want to
right?
talk about it. I'm still triggered by it. Let's move on. I don't even.
No,
wanna-
real fast. I just gotta tell the Outlap listeners. So Cody's going down to the line to get a Powerade or something. He's gone for like 30 minutes. There's no reception in the track. I have no clue where he is. So Rusty comes back. I say goodbye to everybody except Cody.
I didn't
never
want to
got
let
say.
go. I did not.
never, dude. I was crying up the stairs. I was like, man, I don't want to leave. I just want to stay here, but I couldn't. I was so sad. I missed everybody immediately.
Yeah, I went down to get a water and a Powerade with a $10 bill and came back like 25 minutes later and missed
Oh.
like a giant chunk of stage 3.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Do they not have just a fridge with the drinks or even a cooler?
No.
Like, how does it take long?
They've
Yeah,
got these
well,
stupid little
yeah.
iPad things. There's people
Oh,
sliding their cards for every purchase in front of you for freaking food concessions. Like, dude, bring cash.
Yeah, I had cash. It still took forever to get my fucking bud.
And yeah, it wasn't streamlined at all. Just the organization was terrible. Like they would have the person like that's operating the register then stop what they're doing to then like go fetch the food and like go retrieve
Yeah,
everything
it's
as opposed to
See,
like,
See,
see,
food
that's
coming
the
to
great
them.
thing about Pocono. You don't have to worry about that. Their service is on point.
that's like
Well, yeah,
everywhere
because they're
else.
like-
That's because
They're like-
nobody's there.
Yeah, like there are like 4 people there. They don't have to worry about it.
Why do you always have to bring me down?
I mean, I kept saying during the interaction, it's like I'm not even joking when I say this. Like literally every dirt track I've been to like has more streamlined and organized concessions than this.
Yeah,
Bro,
Greenville Pickens Speedway never had a line because we were just like the girls who ran that were just on it. They were always moving stuff.
Dude, you can
I
go
don't
to
know
Williams
how
Grove.
like every concession stand in Bristol didn't have at least as good a system as your local short track.
You can go to Williams Grove Speedway and get an entire pizza in 10 minutes at a concession stand. 10
Bristol,
minutes.
if you're listening to this, your track is amazing, your facilities are amazing, the racing's amazing, the bathrooms are fairly clean and up to date. Just fix your concessions, please.
Concessions so
Real fast.
people
Okay.
are
So
missing
slow.
the race. Like,
So I
Literally, I
completely
missed
forgot
like
about-
half of stage 3. I was worried I wasn't gonna get because we were planning again with about 50 to go to run down to the infield again for the end of the cup race. And it was getting to the point where I kept looking at my phone, like checking like what lap they were on my phone. It's like, am I gonna be back like with 50 to go? Like I left like at the beginning of stage 3. Like, am I gonna be back with 50 to go? Like it was starting to get to that point. Luckily,
you
I
missed
was.
almost like 200 laps.
It was over 100 laps that I missed. So that literally like at least 20% of the race.
oh,
That's awful. That's like
Just to get a bottle of water and a Powerade to try to not die of dehydration.
yeah.
You
that's
should
a-
have just
So-
stuck
It's not
it
like I
out
was,
and-
it's not like I was trying to get a big fancy burger or pizza or something. I wanted a
Oh,
water
see,
and a
that's a
Powerade.
lesson learned. And when you go to Bristol, don't drink anything and die.
That's about how I felt. So real fast, I just forgotten about something. I've just now remembered it. Okay, so there was this thing up on Colossus. Like no one was paying attention to it. They were doing like some raffle or something, but they would give like $30,000 to some charity and $30,000 to some like person who had entered the raffle. So I'm like not paying attention to it at all. But Rusty like taps me on the shoulder. He's like, "I dare you to just fake celebrate right now." And I was like, "What?" And I looked up on the screen. And I was like, "Okay." So then they do this thing and they call out the number, and I like scream at the top of my lungs. I'm like, "Holy shit! I just won $60,000!" And everybody around me just like staring at me. It was the stupidest thing, but it was so great.
Amazing.
Like everybody was like kind of in shock around us, and then like after they settled down, like MDK looks up at Caleb like, "What is your problem? Are you stupid?"
I love that.
The answer to that question is yes.
Yeah, it is. Actually.
Yes, I am actually dumb. And we were roasting Jimmy Johnson. I don't think MDK liked that.
No, we were the pre-race, during the race, and then when he got in the wall, we were ripping Jimmy.
Yeah, we pulled like I remember doing Cup qualifying. Jimmy Johnson came by and qualified like 23rd, and Rusty and I were just yelling at him like, "Get off the track, retire, hang it up."
Dude, all that,
he did qualify like 20. He qualified like 28th. It was
worse.
Is it 30th? It was sad.
Yeah, all the Hitler guys were top 10 except him. It's like, get off the track.
He qualified
Get
almost
off the track,
as bad as Kyle
seven-time
Busch.
champion.
Qualified almost as bad as Kyle Busch. Did we talk about how bad he was like up until the race?
Even in the race, he was bad.
Kyle or
He
Jimmy?
finished like top 5, I thought.
Well, he got saved by a couple yellows there. In
Yeah,
the first.
Kyle went 2 laps down at one point off of just pace. Like I turned to Darian in front of me. I was like, "Dude, Adam Stevens like shit the bed."
Oh yeah, that's right. That one caution with like Jimmy and Logano and all those guys like happened like right in front of him, right when he was about to go a lap down.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
And Hamlin too. Like Hamlin actually got a chunk of that.
Yeah, I knew he got a piece of that when I watched the replays afterwards. Like, how did he not get more damage from that? Darn it.
Dude, even Hamlin got in the wall a couple times during the race.
Yeah.
It's a short track. You can
All
get
right,
a little
so,
run and
like-
keep going.
Everybody here watched Bristol, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you remember that one caution when Clint Boyer like hit the wall and died?
Yeah.
I was like my hands, like my face was down in my hands. I was just crying because Clint Boyer is no talent.
That is also in my vlog.
Yeah.
I cannot wait
no,
to see
no,
this vlog, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, what was better about it is that when I took my hands up, I see Danny B's camera in my face. I see Cody's camera in my face. I see everybody's like looking at me, just staring at me because I'm. This was after Eric Almirola, the guy who was on my shirt, had like wrecked 3 times on the night. It was. And then Kevin Harvick went behind the wall, and I said to Rusty, I was like, I'm pretty sure Tony Stewart's just about to hang himself right now. It was terrible.
Jesus.
I was still trapped in the
That might
concession
have been
line at the time.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Well, at least I was thinking about it, I guess.
It's okay, Caleb. We did the same thing for Danny when Bowman wrecked.
Yeah.
We all looked over him, like patted him on the shoulder and like
I
empathy.
saw that video. Yeah, I saw that video.
It looked worse in person.
I wish they showed that on TV. That would honestly make my night even better. They just film a random bunch of YouTubers and they're just like consoling him.
Yeah, there's just one depressed dude after all of his favorite drivers have wrecked out or have been. Oh my god.
So yeah, then Matty B takes over, and the entire crowd is for him. You could tell everyone wanted. I mean, even
Matty B.
Matty D.
Matty D. Sorry, yeah, Matty.
Okay. He's had a long week.
Heat stroke.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was
Rusty
hot
knows about
there, right?
those.
It
Yeah.
was hot as fuck.
Even at night.
I probably should
Yeah.
have died.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
I
man.
I was
I
ready
had heat
for it though.
sickness that last day.
Yeah, I saw that picture of you laying down. I was like, oh no.
Well, yeah, Cody and I had like sun poisoning, which made it worse because we had been standing out in the line because Rusty didn't get back to the track with his mom's Mercedes.
Don't blame Rusty. Blame Darian and Jarrett for needing to go back to the house for no reason and have, hey, Rusty, can you abandon your parking spot to do so?
Yeah, that was so
Caleb
stupid,
and-
dude. It was great.
So they could take a nap.
And have Caleb and Cody hold down the fort for you and hold
Yeah,
your
like,
spot
I
in the
offered
middle
to do
in
it
the
'cause-
direct sunlight.
I thought Rusty was gonna be gone for like 5 minutes, but then we were standing out in the parking spot, and it was like 20 minutes later. I was like,
Well, I got there, and then Zach changed this. It was kind of a cluster once back.
Yeah.
It's okay, Rusty. I still love you. I still love everybody.
And then and then immediately after they get back is when they're hitting me up asking me to send a bunch of pictures of where I'm at for the hot passes. So that's why I was like extra flustered at the time. I just spent like the entire day sitting out in the sun.
Oh, that's not
The heat was getting to me.
Yeah.
The sun was making me crabby.
Again, VR racing. We need it in our lives.
We talked about this. That was
Green
early
screen
on. That was like the second episode, wasn't it?
It came.
one of our
There's a
three
lore. There's a narrative to this. Lore.
A lore.
Lore.
All right, so race happens. Let's get back to it. Stay on topic.
What a
Matty D
show
takes the
this is.
lead.
We go to the infield with like a 50 to go.
The fans are going absolutely nuts. De Benedetto just freaking took the lead and just
Then,
held
yeah.
it for a
People's
while
shortly after.
until that happened.
I felt like I was the only person that was in the know at the time. I knew it at the time. I knew it.
What? That
I know you kept
Rusty,
saying
do
it. I
have,
thought you were
like,
doing it as like a jinx.
You know, Rusty has like a sixth sense about this kind of stuff.
Dude, I could see him coming
Yeah,
the whole entire
intense
race.
about
Yeah,
it.
Rusty has the sixth sense of when Danny Hamlin's just coming to fuck everything up. It's
Yeah.
I think if Matty had an entire bumper, he might have had a better chance of putting up a fight.
That's
Can we discuss freaking No Neck Newman over here?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
mad.
Dude,
How many
I
wish I saw him in
Matty
person.
D closing in on Ryan Newman. I was like, Ryan Newman proved me wrong. I'd made an entire section of one of my videos about how hard you were to pass, and everybody's like, well, he's not that hard to pass. And I was like, all right.
Not only that, but like
my critics to be right, and then
Not
nope,
only
I
that.
was right.
Not only that, but he chops De Benedetto's nose off for like no reason.
Yeah, it's not even like he was there. He just turns. Like what?
And this isn't like just blind speculation at like, oh, because of that incident, that is why De Benedetto lost.
said
No,
it
De
himself.
Benedetto said it himself. Exactly.
He said it made the car tight, and it wasn't there anymore.
Can we talk about that for a fucking second? How aero dependent these goddamn cars are at a fucking short track. That stuff fucking pisses me off. There's a short track. They should be able to beat and bang off each other. It should be like old Bristol, like the time that Rusty Wallace had his entire bumper ripped off and finished the race in second. Should fucking be able to beat and bang on each other and not have to worry about aero bullshit. I hate this so much.
Race,
Amen.
that's what the high drag package is for.
Full throttle at Bristol.
We should go back to the. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We should go back to the Gen 4, and we should just do all the safety improvements in it. Go back to the Gen 4.
Yeah,
I say we go
No
back
safer
to
barrier.
the Gen 1 cars. Just
Gen
buy up a fucking like Ford Fusion off the street and then just race it as is.
Dude, weren't we talking about that a few weeks ago? I don't know if it was on the Outlap or not, but those concept Car of Tomorrow cars where it was literally like the Gen 4, just a little bit more boxy for the safety improvements.
Just run a Pinty's car, man. That's basically what it is.
Yo,
Oh,
those
God.
things are freaking sweet.
Dude,
All right,
oh
real
my
fast.
god. I don't think any of you guys watched it, but the Pinty's race that went on, like, it was the same night as the Bristol race, unfortunately, and it kind of went on, like, into stage 1, but it was amazing. It was like, all right, I know I'm just kind of talking alone here, but it was what what Old Bristol is what Riverside, Nova Scotia is, where everyone wants to be on the bottom, and to get the lead, you got to move the guy. So the guy got moved, and then he moved the other guy back, and it was fantastic, and it was great.
That's what stock car racing should be. It
Hell
shouldn't
yeah.
be this freaking pussy ass. Don't touch my car because then I can't drive it the rest of the race. Should be some beating. There should be some rubbing. There should be tire marks. None of that shit happens anymore. Touch another car, can't fucking drive it anymore.
But I want my NASCAR like IndyCar and F1. I want there to be no contact.
I beg to differ.
I would rather watch
Like
F1.
Well,
the-
Denny Hamlin had
Caught up in
damage.
that early wreck.
Yeah.
He smacked the wall a few times, and he still went on to win.
Well,
Tyler
Matthew
Reddick
Benedetto-
started from
Denny
the
Hamlin
back.
got into the wall on like lap 6. I remember
Yeah, well, the
early.
It was, It was a different type of damage though. Like, did you see the?
He took the
last
downforce
time-
off the front of the car.
Yeah, there was no downforce on the front end, so he lost like almost all grip in the
Well,
front.
won't the composite bodies in a few years fix this?
Yeah, that'll fix that.
All right, good.
Because
Do that in NASCAR.
like
You heard it
the-
here
Yeah,
first.
it'll just
Yeah.
fucking break off next time. They'll just
Aren't the front
crack-
bumpers already composite?
Everything, aren't they already composite?
No.
I have
Newman's
no
the
idea.
biggest like turd on the circuit. Like he
Ryan Newman.
not only was he just it's the roadblock. I wish just the Bendel just dumped him. Just ran him over. Who cares? What a turd.
Literally
Put him down
take him
pit
out of the
road like
car.
in NASCAR Heat 3. It works every
Dude,
time.
If I was Matt DiBenedetto, I would have used those biceps to give Ryan Newman a neck. Like, oh my god.
But could his biceps get around his fat?
Have you
I
seen
would
that?
have punched. I would have uppercut that so hard. He would have been a giraffe.
That's like I don't know.
Rocket
That's,
robot.
You would have been
I
a
just
giraffe.
feel like it's like trying to move.
There it is.
It's like an unstoppable force beast, an immovable object. Like how are those two gonna fight? Like it's not gonna do anything.
Does Ryan Newman have fans?
yes, he does.
How?
Like
I know. For a
Like
fact he
year
does.
after year. This is the same thing with Chase and Dover, and this is like even more significant than that.
He had an impact at Chicagoland with Kyle Busch and Larson.
he,
Oh my god.
I
He's a
had
bum.
He also doesn't think that we didn't actually land on the moon, and they can just friggin' who put
He's
you
an
put you in a
engineer who
race
doesn't
car?
believe in the moon landing. He's dumb.
I love that people keep
Maybe-
talking about that
What
too.
bothers me the most about that damage is if he had hit Matt on the right side, it wouldn't have been as detrimental to the car as being on the left side because you don't have the downforce on the left front of the car that you need to get through the turns at Bristol. And it's just, I hate everyone in the cars.
I just
I
think
keep seeing-
it was just deliberate because obviously Newman did not need to Benedetto to win. So I see it's my tinfoil hat's on. He just did it on purpose. To,
I think
I
it's
believe
really
it.
I see people
I believe
defending Newman. Like,
No.
oh yeah, DiBenedetto wins, then Newman's on the bubble.
But
so
you have to,
he's,
like,
had
understand,
championship
too.
implications.
Okay, but
If
he's
it was a
going like
one-time-
3 laps down at this point.
If it was a one-time playoff thing this year, I would understand. The same dude has a history of racing people super hard and blocking the leaders and taking their nose off many times in the past when there are no championship implications on the line.
Literally, Ryan Newman races harder going 3 laps down than he does when he's like in second place.
On a restart, yeah.
Literally,
Well, you know,
I remember the Coke
every other driver that to Benedetto passed, like Jimmy Johnson and Kurt Busch, they just let him go. There's a time and place to race someone, and when it's just so dumb, it's just such a lack of respect to other competitors on the field. It's just so.
I'm sorry, but do you know
so
who he is?
Ryan Newman.
He's Ryan
oh,
fucking Newman.
fuck.
I know, and I just wish he was just gone.
And
Can we-
all
can we
that
just
just
get-
to get eliminated from the first round of the playoffs.
Exactly. So it's like, what's it even worth?
Can we get a solid
And it's
fact,
like-
Ryan Newman?
Ryan
Newman.
No neck.
Ryan,
Like
Ryan
so.
Newman,
Put the Benedetto
Go.
in the 6.
fuck yourself.
Yeah, put
No.
the Benedetto in there.
That's a step down for Benedetto.
You're actually
It might
correct.
be, but damn it.
Like, I don't understand what he thinks he's gonna get by being 16th in the playoffs. Like, you haven't won a fucking race. You haven't been up front. You're not gonna go into the playoffs and win the fucking title. Move the fuck over, you fat fuck.
God almighty.
Jesus. There it is.
Ryan Newman just needs to hang it up. He needs to hang the steering wheel up, go play with his millions, be like, oh yeah, I won
Make
8
his
cup races
YouTube
in
videos.
2003, guys. Please fuck me.
Well, I think
Jesus.
Ryan Newman just needs to make his fake moon landing conspiracy videos because they do make a lot of views. I think that would be
Yeah,
his
Rusty,
profession.
yeah, he's gonna be one of those boomers.
He,
Why did
he
I
needs
say
an out
Rusty?
from the sport. So let make some YouTube videos, Ryan Newman, about
Yeah.
your bullshit conspiracies, and
Be
then
like
get a
Nico
million
Rosberg.
views, a million follows, and then
Yeah.
retire from NASCAR and do that full time.
I would
He
watch
also
that.
Also,
thinks that
fuck
Russ is
Nico
flat.
Rosberg. Like,
How dare you?
a lot of
He's
his
a clickbait master. That is.
I mean, he is.
Newman.
I hate what he says a lot of the time.
All right, hold
Well,
on. While Slap is here, I want to talk just a touch of history. I was doing a little internet research and I learned yesterday. I didn't know this. Do any of you know where Richard Petty's first ever like NASCAR Grand National Series start was?
You told me this, so I'm not going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Couldn't tell you.
It was.
Sure wasn't
it
in
was-
Sweet Home Alabama.
It wasn't in the South. It wasn't in the United States.
Yeah, I remember you said this. I saw this when I was trying to recap all
Was
the
it like
stupid
Japan or-
bullshit
It
you
was
guys
in
were posting.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Richard
Really?
Petty's first NASCAR start was in a like a 3rd mile oval. They paved inside a stadium, like a football stadium. It was basically
the Toronto Expo Center, like
Yeah.
where the Indy cars
Oh,
race
man.
now.
Look at that. He crashed. What a bum. He should have been retired right there.
no, he crashed because he got turned by his dad because he was going a lap
Oh,
down and he
yeah!
was too slow.
Jesus.
But they built a friggin' racetrack in a stadium, and they brought NASCAR. Apparently, in 1958, NASCAR went to Toronto for some reason.
Bowman
I think
Gray
they've
wants
done
to
that.
know
It was
location.
It was literally Bowman
the
Gray.
Toronto Expo Center, like where the
Yeah. Like
IndyCar
that
race.
right now.
If I'm
They've
Yeah,
replaced
they
that
just-
stadium, but that exact location
short track over there.
is where they race
Not
Indy and
mistaken.
Pinties.
They've done that at Soldier Field a couple times in the past, if I'm not mistaken.
And they did it at Buffalo Civic Stadium too.
That's pretty
More
crazy.
NASCAR at stadiums. Let's get NASCAR at Lambeau Field. Let's do
Bowman
it.
Gray.
NASCAR at
hell
Bowman Gray
no.
Stadium, make it happen.
NASCAR Lambo Roval.
Now
Also-
we need NASCAR and Ford Field. That writes itself.
Also, top series, like top tier NASCAR, has never been out of the U.S. since. Like they've never left the country.
Not
In
for
a points-
points
in a
paying
points
race.
race.
not for a points race.
But I mean, like official races, that was the last one to be outside of the U.S.
Richard Petty ruined it for everyone.
Way to go, Richard Petty. Thanks for winning 200 races, but you fucked us out of Canada.
Well, we have Pinties.
199 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Or 201. I don't
200
know.
with an asterisk.
200, but like kinda.
Maybe 60 if you don't count his
Either way, Kyle Busch is not the king.
pre-season.
Kyle Busch is the GOAT.
Shut up.
200.
We were saying that. We were saying that a lot this weekend
Dude,
too.
I'm so glad Kyle Busch had a terrible weekend at Bristol. Put a
Dude,
smile on
literally,
my
like
face.
we would like whenever we came across people with like senior shirts, we'd be like, Kyle Busch, GOAT.
Such a dick.
I'm surprised you can get your ass kicked.
I wanted
Yeah,
my
some-
ass
How are you
kicked.
still alive to tell the tale?
I don't. Rednecks weren't as angry this year. I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
because
with
Kyle
them, man.
Busch didn't do well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
They, like Kyle Busch was sucking. They knew that.
Yeah, imagine
Like,
imagine
"No,
if Kyle
out
Busch
of
would have
it."
won. And
Hell, you just
Kyle
say,
Busch
boy,
loses,
I done tell
everyone
you what, you
wins.
better get the fuck over here.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know. How are we looking on time?
That's it. That's the show.
Hey, before we go, I want to shout out a sweetheart.
Is it me?
No, it was the kid in. It was the kid in the tent where I heard my voice playing on somebody's phone.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh yeah, tell that story.
You guys can tell it. You guys can tell it.
I didn't.
What is
I didn't catch it. You told
Well,
me the
all right.
story.
So, I mean, Rusty, are you sure you don't want to tell it?
No, you can.
Yeah,
you
it's
can
your
go
All
ahead.
right. All right. So we're just. This is on a Saturday before the Cup race. So we're just like in the tents. We're just hanging out, having a good time.
This is before the
Rusty-
meetup.
Yeah.
After
No, this
the
is
meetup.
after
Oh,
the
okay.
meetup.
Couple hours after.
Yeah, we've been walking around for a little while, but Rusty's like, why do I hear my voice playing?
What?
And this one kid, he's watching a Rusty Walrus video, like
Yo,
without even knowing
That's amazing.
it's Rusty. But no, Rusty turns around, he's like, "Oh, you're watching one of my videos." Kid does like a quadruple take. He's like, "Yeah, I'm watching this one video." Wait a minute, you're the guy.
You blew that kid's mind. Oh my god.
Dude, he was in complete shock and he stumbled backwards like, oh! Ah!
That's
It was
amazing.
the greatest thing.
I didn't hear about that.
Bold! Bold!
See, Ed, just imagine those heartwarming experiences you could have if people knew what you look like.
No, it was really special. He was there with his mom and his buddy, and I took a photo with him. It was a really special moment. Like it really blew me away. He was watching a Chase Elliott Watkins Glen race review, and it was surreal. It was really surreal.
That's
was
that's like
coolest
storybook stuff right there. Like you literally find
He
a dude
just
while
had-
he's watching.
Like
your video.
literally, just so happened to be in the exact same tent out of like all the tents.
That's
just,
destiny right there.
That is,
I wish
Yeah.
I wish I actually took a photo with them because I haven't seen the photo yet or I haven't been tagged in it, but I really wish I took a photo myself because I was like That was 1 in a billion, even more than a billion. That was insane.
That's amazing.
Did you cry?
No, it was just surreal because like you hear your voice, and because during the weekend people were like watching my truck series videos, like and me at Bristol. So I heard myself in the house a couple times. So I'm like, who's watching my video? Like, why? Like, cause I gave the guys in the house crap. Like, turn my videos off. I don't want to hear my voice because I'm cringed by it. And I'm like, who's watching me? And I turn around, it's this kid. I'm like, oh, this is too precious.
Oh,
Dude,
that was probably the most wholesome moment of my life.
Should have yelled at him. Stop watching me!
You gotta pay for that, kid. Turn that phone off.
Imagine you're just some kid watching a Rusty Walrus video, and then Rusty Walrus turns around and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He just gets mad at you.
I hate the sound of my own voice. I hate myself. And turn it off, kid.
That's
Alright.
the show.
That was
Thanks for
The Outlap.
thanks for coming on board, S1ap. This is cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you so much to those of you who have made it through this extra long episode of the Outlap. This one was a little bit special, a little bit unusual. I think next week we'll go back to our normal chatting format, but we've got some fun stuff to look forward to. Cody is, as I speak right now, he's camping at Road America, and he's going to see the Xfinity race live. I'm going to go to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park to see the Pinty's race and the Truck Series race live. So we'll have tons to talk about, plus a little bit of F1 news as they've released a few photos and videos of a concept for the 2021 rule package. Should be interesting, and you'll be able to catch us next week. Bye-bye.